You can have the perfect job, a beautiful home, and a full social calendar and still feel lonely. It's because loneliness is not filled by how much you have and how much you've achieved. It's about having a nervous system that feels safety in connection. We have this ventral vagal system, which is part of the parasympathetic nervous system, which allows us to feel the warmth in someone's eyes, the comfort in their tone of voice, and safety in their presence. And when that system, the ventral vagal system, is not online, then no amounts of success or external achievement will fill that emptiness. In this video, I'll explain why so many high-functioning people feel lonely even though their life is full, and how trauma and early attachment experiences affects your capacity for connection, and what actually helps the nervous system to feel safe enough to connect again. I'm Naomi Galinsky, a somatic trauma therapist, nervous system educator, and I also happen to have a PhD in astrophysics from my formal career before I became a therapist. If you are high functioning and exhausted from holding it all together, I'm trained in somatic experiencing, inner child and family systems work, and transpersonal psychology to help rewire those long-standing survival patterns and heal chronic illnesses that you get to live a life of resilience, thriving, and meaning. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been following me, then I'm glad to have you back. In modern society, we are taught that happiness comes from having that high-paying job, that house, that car or 3 cars, and being in a relationship where we then grow a family with 3 kids and have this Disney picture perfect life, and that will keep us safe. But underneath that, we are wired at a biological mammalian level, at a much deeper level for connection. And from the moment we are born, think of a baby. A baby is dependent on the mother and the adult caregivers around. They cannot survive on their own. So through evolution, we developed this ventral vagal system, which allows us to connect to people and find safety in connection. And that need for connection, that need to feel attuned, that need to feel felt, seen, and heard and loved doesn't disappear in adulthood. In fact, it's just as important for our survival as breathing in oxygen, drinking water, and eating food. And when we don't have that connection, then we can't fill that emptiness of loneliness through all the achievements and accolades. Let's come back to our ventral vagus wiring. We are not in our ventral vagus state. That's the social engagement state where we can actually feel connected to someone. That's not on when we are in productive mode. And we might have not had healthy ventral vagal wiring growing up because of developmental trauma or birth trauma. So, for example, maybe your parents had a toxic relationship or a toxic divorce. And you learned early on that there was no repair in relationships, that it was always about fighting and disconnection. Or you were neglected emotionally or physically. So you learned that people are not going to show up for you. And maybe the survival strategy is to avoid people, to stop from being, to avoid people, to stop from being hurt, or to people please, to go towards people try to give them what they want, also to avoid the hurt of being neglected. Maybe you were bullied in high school or in primary school. And the result of that is that you become socially withdrawn and inward, or you become the popular one. But neither of them also gets you connected to people. And these survival strategies that we needed, that were necessary to develop to keep us alive, they block our capacity for intimacy. They shut down our ventral vagus system. And what happens on top of that is that we don't ask for support, and we become a we'll do it all alone kind of person. And we struggle on our own. And that becomes a really lonely place. And this is where the trauma healing and inner child work comes in. Trauma healing the shock trauma, healing the birth trauma, the in utero trauma, so that our physiology is not driven by stuck survival response, by hypervigilance, anxiety, and stress, so that we can release that, so that the ventral vagus nerve can turn more online. And we do the inner child work, because what happens in our nervous system is, from when our parents were divorced and our emotional needs weren't met, we were bullied and no one was there for us, or we were neglected and no one was there for us, or when we were bullied, I guess, we were also emotionally hurt or physically hurt by these people and no one was there to protect for us. Our nervous system is still stuck in the past. And we need to go back to the past and tend to that child and become the inner parent that they never had, so that they can feel safe enough, so that we can come back to the present moment where we can learn to feel safe enough, to feel safe connection with people again. If you're feeling lonely and you're this high achiever that gets it all done, then your path is to unlearn that productivity equals safety, to heal the dysregulation in our nervous system caused by the attachment wounds, the inner child wounds, or the childhood wounds that we suffered growing up, and to rewire our patterns to learn to feel safe in connection by learning how to reach out for support, by taking the time to really listen to be attuned to other people, to be there for them, so that they can start showing up for you too. And this is an uncomfortable process if we're not used to it. If we've never experienced safety and connection with our parents or caregivers, then it's going to be an uncomfortable process to learn to trust someone, to connect with our deepest, truest parts of ourselves, and to feel our emotions and to let someone in to witness us and be with us, because that's healing. And this doesn't happen overnight. So it's not that you go out, call someone and be like, and in your heart be like, oh, they're going to be my best friend now, and I'm going to learn how to connect. No. Trust takes time to build. It takes consistency of showing up for someone and calling them and asking for support. This earned trust takes time. And it takes time to learn how to be attuned to yourself and to other people. It's like learning a new skill, learning a new language. but it's so possible. And somatic trauma therapy is an amazing way to get that done, or working with someone who does inner child healing, does somatic experiencing, does the trauma work. If this video spoke to you, please leave a comment and share what resonated. And I'd love for you to subscribe or like this video so that others can find it as well. And if you're ready to go deeper, check out the links in my caption for further offerings.